I will beat your ass.
Hey, howdy-ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 590, the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. We're doing it live. I am your host, Chris, and with me is the beautiful, finely tuned, ready for action, squarehead, Michael Gray. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, better, right? Nothing to fix the vibes quite like just scoring on every possession, all of them until you take a knee.
Oh, God, that feels good. It felt so good. It
does.
We will do a victory lap a little bit with the Slack. They'll be in the car with us because we had it was funny watching the realization cross Twitter today, and it's just one of those things that I love when that happens.
How about the live broadcast? I mean, how about Fox Television? And I mean, we all knew that we were up against it with Vilma being in the booth. You always are when Vilma's in the booth.
Yeah.
But my guy was 3:05. I noted the time on my Twitter account. 3:05 left in the half, and that's when it dawns on Jonathan Vilma that every time they shoot John Morton, he's sitting there silent as a stone. And Dan Campbell's got my grandmother's readers on and his play card, and he's buried in the sheet the whole time. Like, yeah, something's different. One of these things is not like the other, friend. How does that take you so long? And then, it kind of spread throughout the Twitterverse that, weird.
Suddenly the O-line can block. Suddenly Jamo might be worth a contract. Suddenly. It's almost like blocking schemes and play calling and they're all connected. It's almost like it's a system.
The rhythm, everything about the team just looks so much more organized. And Dan Campbell said it earlier this week. Just got to get into a rhythm, got to find our offensive rhythm. And that was the game in a word was rhythm, because they just came out and they looked like they were executing on time. Goff knew exactly where he wanted to be with the ball. The personnel groupings, I think when people go back through the all 22s and look at the personnel groupings, they're going to see some significant changes, fewer too tight sets, and some different things going on there. And it looked like the I don't know. There was a guy in the Slack a couple of days ago said it'll look like the old Lions. I don't remember who that was. It was somebody. Anyway, and it looked like the old Lions. And by the way, by the way, the very old Lions. I want to take a moment and I'll get this out of the way. That looked a lot like when that super genius Ben Johnson was in town, right? Because Dan's just a muscle-bound Muppet who shouts inspirational sayings and likes Metallica songs. That didn't look like Detroit Lions football.
It was really nice of Ben Johnson to come back after the game, because they had the early game, to come back and do all the play calls and set up the offense for the team this week. And also, I would also call out that you don't believe anybody that tells you the rhythm method doesn't work. All right, we got a lot to talk about here. We got a lot to talk about here. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to cover Coach Campbell's post-game presser. We'll get Jared Goff's post-game presser. We'll see who else is coming up, and maybe a third person we want to cover. We'll see. We'll do a roundtable talk, and we will take your calls and a whole lot more. We got a great show lined up. Mr. Gray, you ready to go, my man?
Let's go.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
Right. Ah, man, it feels good. It feels good to come out of this. I mean, yes, like you said, it was my fault last week. I was there. I apologize. You had a great video.
You show up. Minnesota runs up 27 points, and this time they don't get the miracle at the end. Stop going to Minnesota games.
People are going to talk
this show.
People are going to talk about. You can throw eggs, throw vegetables later. I deserve it, because I think that's where I got COVID. Like I'm like, this is my best day of the week today. So
by the way,
I'm
who's
glad.
still catching COVID in 2025?
It's the first time I ever got it. I never had it before. Like what the hell?
You're late to the party.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys were all talking about. Jesus, you just closed down the world for nothing. Anyway, okay, please, everyone, calm down. I'm just fucking around. Do not get your shit in a bundle. Anyway, besides all that, the team looked fantastic. The blocking. I don't care if Washington isn't a great team, because they're not, but they're in the middle. They are in the middle of the league, and I'm gonna get the numbers here really quick. On defense, they were ranked number 21, so top middle third of the league. Not terrible. Their offense was 15th, right? And we're talking about the offense mostly today, although our defense did play a hell of a game. But they're nothing to sneeze at defensively. They've played some good games. We just, like, if you look at the blocking, it's not just that their line stunk. They have some really, as a matter of fact, their line is really strong. Right. It's one of the strongest lines in all the defenses. As long as they aren't getting ejected.
I was going to say.
But we played
they were
very,
for a
very
hot
well.
minute.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about where's Minnesota, right, as far as defenses go, and I know they jumped up last week, but I mean, their defense is ranked 17th right now after last week's performance, right? So what do you see? You got two teams that are ranked almost the same defensively, and one just destroys our line and the other one doesn't. Why? Well, the blocking schemes are part of the play calls. The blocking schemes are part of the offense. Those changed, right? Slack knew, we all knew before the game started who was calling plays today.
Right.
It all changed, and you can see what the difference is with a Dan Campbell offense, who Ben Johnson got all the credit for, versus what JMO, or I don't even call him JMO, Johnny Morton wants to bring to this team, or can bring to this team. And it's unfortunate right now for him, because you've got Aidan 2.0 situation going on. I mean, at what point do they let him go? That's the only question, is when.
Well, and that becomes the thing for me, and I talked about it a little bit with last week's episode of the Gray Area, and like, okay, if it's hashtag fired John Morton, all right, but we got to have a much bigger conversation then. How did this happen again? How did we get Anthony Lynn version 2.0? What do you do to keep this team on the rails for in a season where you're a championship contender? Mm-hmm. You are a legit title contender, and you can't let something like this derail that. So now you're building the plane at 30,000 feet. And, at least for this week, plan looked pretty solid. And this is, they obviously made a lot of changes going into preparing for this week. Next week is the Eagles. That's a whole other level of everything. And they're going to need their A game, but I'm not sneezing at any win in the DMV against that Washington team. They've done it 3 times, by the way, not since 2015. And those other wins there were in the 1930s, and they were in Boston. So they don't win on road trips to play those guys very often. I like it. I'll take it anytime you can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun watching Twitter kind of awaken and see
figure it out.
Yeah, over the and then wrestle it against it. No, this happens every week. This is how it always goes. I'm like, right. It's so funny watching these. It's important to be in the room. It's important because you have all the information. Right?
Which room? You might not be in the right room. Down the hall, a little further. So yeah, and like I said, that'll become a question, because now is this sustainable? Can they make something that's solid enough to continue on with this season out of whatever the new parameters are with the offensive chain of command?
Mm-hmm.
And can they keep it going? Because if they can look like this again, I mean, they ran that stat on Gibbs and touchdowns before your 24th birthday, and how he's at 41, and number 1 all time is Barry Sanders at 47. He doesn't. Old boy doesn't turn 24 till March. He'll be the all-time leader in that category by the end of the season, the way things are going, if they're going to call the game like this. I mean, he just put up a hat trick today. So there's a lot of damage they can do if the offense is going to run this efficiently.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, the other part is Johnny Mo's. I mean, they're pulling his plays out of the book. It is a burn Johnny burn kind of a situation. They tried every way from Sunday. The disjointedness came from multiple people giving Morton plays to call, and then he chose between them. So, I mean, and they thought maybe they could help him by giving him good plays, but then you have multiple people, you're not setting things up. It becomes a lot more difficult to run the plays. It becomes a mess at that point. And that's kind of what you get to last week. And they realized there's no helping at this point. He's just not getting it. And I got to tell you, we all saw it when he showed up in that press conference and said, basically it's the old saying that I always throw around, man. If everyone you meet is an asshole, you just might be the asshole. And that's what he
Right.
did. Everyone was an asshole in his press conference, and that did not go over well in Lions land. That did not go over well with anybody in that locker room.
And that was the thing all week. I won't even lie. I was bummed out. I mean, the vibes were bad around this team, and you're sitting there at 5-3, and you've got everything to play for, and there's just a truckload of talent on the roster, and relative certainly to last year, you're healthy, and all of these things should be pointing in the right direction. And the vibes were bad. And credit to Dan Campbell again, proving with this franchise that one, he can tactically get it together. And yep, he's a football coach. He's not just a shoulder pressing Muppet that talks in phrases. And two, that he can keep everybody together while you're making these changes. There are obviously, there's going to be some feathers ruffled when things like this go on in the week you just had. And to put that all to bed and then go on the road and have the game they just had, all the credit in the world to the head man.
Yeah, it was completely anti-Detroit Lions to stand there in that press conference and say it's everybody else. That was just
it was a little off-putting for sure. I still, I would love to have some what is that, sodium pentothal, the truth serum.
Yeah.
Like, how did he get that? How did we get here? How did we get here in 8 games? How does he go from the guy that you think is going to do this to somebody who's just a speed bump and in the way and actively holding you back? But that's a conversation for another time, because it's November and their biggest games are still ahead of them. They've dropped 2 in division. There's a lot on the line every single Sunday for these guys, so they're going to have to focus, and it'll take everything that Dan's got and the rest of this offensive coaching staff has got to keep them focused and on the road.
Yeah. Tim Stein with the remark of the day: hire Mark Sanchez. You have to get him out of jail first, but there may be an opportunity here for Mark Sanchez.
I was gonna say, I think he's busy. I feel like he's got something going on.
Yeah. Oh man, that was wild. All right, so let's talk about it. Defense today. Calvin Shepard's defense. Early, they did that thing where it's like, you know what I mean? Well, let's start, I guess, with special teams, because with special teams right off the top, it was and the defense. I mean, defending from, was it their own 40 or was it it was their own 40 that they had the Washington got the ball on after that first return.
Right.
Holding them, stopping them, holding them to 3. That was a hell of an early stop for the Lions defense. Not kind of like them early in the game, but all those points came when they did, and the Lions defense held tight. Jack Campbell out there was an absolute beast.
Monster. That stop on the goal line. You talk about just a prototypical, you draw it up on a video game that way, playing middle linebacker.
Yeah. And I mean, just the raw power, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Strength, just man ball. I mean, that's what that was. When you smack somebody, it was good for one of the few things that Vilma said worth hearing is, that's something even Bobby Wagner over on the other sidelines going, yep, nope, that's how that should look. That's how a middle linebacker should play. And he's on an excellent trajectory too. I mean, he has been as the season has gone on. And, I mentioned this a few weeks back on my Stupid Tuesday show, is that, you get a linebacker's eye view of this defense because of Kelvin Shepard, as opposed to a cornerback's eye view of it through Aaron Glenn. And I think you can see that, especially in the way the linebackers have been playing, and kind of the way the whole defense pivots around those guys.
Yeah. Woo. McNeil didn't have the impact that we wanted from him. Not that, I mean, he didn't have the big splash plays. He did clog up. He did eat up blocks and stuff, but there wasn't any of the big breakouts that we expect out of him. Terrion goes out with a brain injury. That's kind of concerning, but we'll see what happens. It's very concerning.
Yeah.
Actually. I hate that for anybody.
Well, if only because he goes out, it seems like every game with something. He's been dinged up, and obviously the concussion protocol is what it is. It's pretty black and white, and you would like him on the field against the Eagles because he was playing really well up until that point. He was balling out, and he's kind of quietly redeemed himself when he can get on the field. You still don't have Kirby Joseph. Brian Branch had to go out, and I don't know. I never got a final report on him and what that was all about. So, it's gonna happen as the season goes along. But man, missing TA that'd be you'd like to have him in there against the Birds for sure.
Yeah. So we got an unlikely Thomas Harper with the leading tackler on the team.
Right.
Go, man, go.
Just like everybody picked.
Yeah, I won that bet. 5 million to 1. Followed by a Brian Branch out there. Brian Branch, where's this little green plug in his hat? What am I missing? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. You know what? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. My man got baptized, and all of a sudden he's something's different. He's he's out there, second most tackles on the team, just crushing. I gotta love it. 2 sacks. He was a man on a mission.
Yeah.
No extracurriculars, just out there playing, just fucking balling, man. I loved my Brian Branch today. I like this version of him.
Well, and that is that last part is super important. That he didn't get goaded into anything. There were no mental moments where you're like, come on, you can't be doing that. And the opportunity to see Kelvin Shepard dial up some blitz packages for him. That's a really exciting player to have coming in. He had a wicked spin move on that second one to get in and get on the quarterback. So fun to see him being utilized that way. Again, a linebacker's eye view of the defense. He's looking at this safety who likes to, hit your face off. And he's like, well, why don't I send him? He's pretty quick. He's pretty mean. Send him on those blitzes. And that was fun to see him get home a couple times.
Moving over to the offensive side of the ball, leading receiver with an average of 19.8 yards on 6 receptions, leading at 119 yards total. Jameson Williamson. Never saw that without Dan Campbell with the plate card in his hand, huh?
Yeah, 6 catches, $119, and could have had more. He had that one drop that would have been a first down, and he had to, say I'm sorry to Kyle Allen there. That one that hit him right in the breadbasket, but he had like 3 guys around him. Nice to see. I mean, it's just a reminder again of the embarrassment of riches that you have on that offensive roster. You've got a couple of guys in him and Gibbs that can go anytime, at all. Anytime you put the ball in their hands could be the game deciding play. And both of them in the open field. I mean, there was that one long pass play to JMO where he's coming across and you're looking at the distance. The guy's got no chance of catching him. None. The acceleration that guy puts on display is just sick. And then he's pointing at blocks and he's trying to direct traffic up the sideline ahead of him. Just super fun to see him engaged in the game. Because again, the common theme tonight, they're going to need him against teams like Philadelphia. They're going to need him on Thanksgiving against the Packers. They're going to need him in those big games to take the lid off those defenses and scare the crap out of everybody the way that he can and the way they should.
Yeah. I'm going to say the Philadelphia game is going to be a test, and this is going to be interesting. Everything we saw that was wrong last week against a similar team was right this week. That's a hell of a U-turn. Now, how does that translate against a team like those Eagles? And that's what we're going to find out next. I have to say, not just with what we saw today, but knowing what's going on in there, I feel as good about playing the Eagles next week as I've felt about playing any team this year. This team is in a new place. If you saw, like, last week, Decker went down like it was shot in the knee, right? Just boom. Now he's 30 yards downfield blocking, right? Trying to block on that touchdown run by Ja. These guys are out there, heart, soul, 100%. They're back in, right? They're back in. Maybe Johnny Moe did this team a favor in that Thursday press conference by casting himself out and bringing them together to kind of huddle, circle the wagons and say, no, that ain't who we are. This is who we are. You know what I mean? There may be something to that because they, to a man, lined up today and played strong ball.
Well, yeah, and again, going back to, a credit to the head coach that didn't poison the room, that it didn't get toxic, and that at least, by all appearances, it sure looks like everybody involved identified the problem
Yep.
And then, what do you do with that? What do you do with a cancer? You cut it out and you move on. So it was remarkable to see it be that poignant and that immediate. So sustainability now has got to be the goal moving forward, and getting Dan a way tougher looking pair of glasses.
Yeah.
I don't know, with that on Golden Pond thing he had going on there with those readers, we got to get him some tougher looking specs.
He makes him look tough. I'll give him that. Dan's presser has not started yet, so we will get to that as soon as it goes. Let's see. Here we go. Frosty. First time this entire season, I feel like I watched the Lions. Also, a special shout out to all the backups who showed up today.
Yeah, a lot of guys got in.
Yep.
And real quick before we get to Dan, before any of that, because I don't want to let this go. Not for nothing, silver pants. See what happens when you wear the silver pants? I've been on a month-long scorched earth campaign for the silver damn pants. They weren't supposed to be road pants, but I'll take it.
You're right when you're right. When you're right, you're right.
I dug up an old picture of Barry Sanders doing his move in the silver pants with the white, that's the uniform. That's what the Detroit Lions are supposed to look like all the way around. So, you look right, you play right. They looked right today.
Wells Walker, I wonder if that's why Morton was such a tool in his presser, because MCDC had already dropped the hammer, removed his play calling duties. Slack new on Tuesday, yes.
I'm gonna, yeah. It was pretty. I can't wait to get back on the field. Whose field? Which field?
Yeah, because the wait's already started. The countdown has begun for the next time you're on the field.
Yeah.
Buddy. Oh man. Charlie.
And that becomes another question. Like, what do you move forward with this? I mean, is he a dead man walking? When this happened with A-Lin, he stayed on in some capacity, and they've managed to keep everything professional all the way through the end of the year. I mean, does something like that happen? This isn't a 3-win team where you're going to be done at the end of December, start of January. You got big plans. So I wonder how they'll handle that.
Yes, it'll be interesting. Okay, so they finally got their post game up and going. We'll see. There's no Dan Campbell yet. As soon as Coach Campbell is on, we will have him. Don't worry, you will not miss a second of Coach Campbell.
And we both promise not to talk all over the questions, even when the dumb.
No, we're going to talk all over them. So get ready. No. I have to say, yeah. So the Morton thing, it's tough. The A-Lin, you look at A-Lin. A-Lin stuck around. There was something there in that Anthony Lynn they were close. He was close with Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell did not want to sully his name or hurt his chances or give any kind of vibe out that he wasn't, truly a good person or whatever else, a team player. Morton here. So here's the thing. When he was with the Jets, something very similar to this happened. It was it's not me, it's everybody else. And they thought they were past that. Now, one more thing about A-Lin. He did sit in meetings sullen and stupid. And I will say he said some pretty dumb things because he just quit paying attention. So when he'd ask questions, he'd answer them very, very wrong. I don't know that they're going to give that much slack to Morton. I don't know that they're going to toss him the first week of November either, because they don't want to ruin his career. Everybody knows everybody in this league, right? It's a small community. They're not going to light him on fire and throw him off the side of the ship, but there's a way that you let people go and let them keep their dignity, especially in something as public as this. So we'll see what happens, but effectively it is over for Johnny Morton. The Johnny Morton era is done in Detroit.
Well, and that was evident from the beginning when they shot him in the booth. And Vilma was talking about, well, John Morton's calling up these great plays, and they went to him, and he wasn't nothing, not a peep, not a button, not a buzzer, nothing. Like, I don't think we're watching the same show, friend. And like I said, they're not in year one of this thing. They're not, a team that's going to struggle with a roster that's barely fit for the league. Trying to bring along a bunch of rookies that they just brought in and a bunch of 1-year prove-it deals with vets making minimums. That's not this team. If you have a disruption in that building that you've identified, I think it behooves everybody to probably be pretty decisive. And now that the cat's out of the bag, I mean, I can't imagine people are going to skip out on asking Dan about this post game, about the play calling. Somebody's going to have to do it, right? Somebody's going to have to. And if he identifies that and like, yeah, I've taken play calling duties over and we're doing it this way now. Okay, well then what are you paying that guy for? What's he do?
All right, Sharon, I got to give you a shout out.
You're that meme.
Love it. That's awesome. Beer worshipping cult. I don't know if Campbell was calling all the plays, but I believe he was filtering what was being called and overruled him a bunch. Dan always has a play sheet. He sure does, but he was calling plays. I'm telling you right now, he was calling plays.
Yeah,
I mean, you watch
he always has
Johnny Morton in the booth with his mouth stitched shut. I mean,
right.
And I'm telling you, we knew Dan was calling the plays earlier in the week. He called the plays today, period.
Yeah, not for nothing. I mean, I've used a microphone to make my living for the better part of 30 years. Dan's is usually over here. It's over here on the side. It's all bent out. And his play sheet is clipped to his belt and usually flopping around, hitting him in the calf. He doesn't have specs, and he looked like an air traffic controller.
Yep.
The man was calling the plays. Now, who else was in his ear? I have no idea. I mean, he could have been talking to any one of a half a dozen people. But, it was obvious from the beginning. When they shot to the booth and Morton was silent, I was like, uh-oh, well, that's new. And you cannot, like, I don't care how novice a football fan you may be. You can't look at what they did over the last 2 or 3 weeks and then look at today's offense and just the rhythm that they played with and the way that they were getting the ball out of Jared Goff's hands. And he wasn't standing back there confused and still ran too many goddamn screenplays. That's another matter, man. I'm done with the screenplays for nothing. But yeah, it was night and day. It looked like the Lions looked last year. It looked like the Lions looked against the Bears earlier this season. And I don't know if that was the Lions being all that good or the Bears being kind of or both that particular day. I mean, the Miami Dolphins did just run the Buffalo Bills off the field today. So it can happen. Weird stuff like that happens.
When the camera showed Fraley, this is Charlie Hustle, on the sideline, did I hear Vilma say, "There's Christian Mahogany looking on"? Yes. Yeah. I have to imagine that Hank Fraley's going home to a really happy wife because he just Benjamin Button 20 years off this age.
Right. On the other hand, if you're Christian Mahogany, you got to be like, I don't look like that. My God, I was only drafted 2 years ago. What are you doing? Killing me over here.
All right, we got the press conference on. Let me bring in Coach Campbell. We'll start listening to these questions from these wonderful beat writers that are so good at this.
I'm not surprised. I knew they'd be ready to go. That's just what they do. We got the right guys, man. They you could feel it all week. Just the intensity, the focus. They wanted to get back in the win column. Cleaned a lot of little things up. Defensively to handle the tempo that they had and played with over there, that's not easy if you don't see that all the time. They do, a lot of different things, man. They're under center, they're in the gun. Mariota can run, the RPO, the boot, then back to under center, and then you get in heavy, and they run the keepers, then the wide zone, then the gap. So anyway, and all of that is really kind of on the ball. So, I thought we handled it pretty well. I really did. So that was good. Offensively, Goff was outstanding. There was really nobody that didn't play at a high level right now that I can think of. I thought Jamo showed up, man. St. Brown, Gibbs, obviously, Laporta. That whole line, man, stepped up. Got us the run game going, protected Goff. That was great, man. It was good to see. Yodi stepped in there, and we didn't miss a beat, man. He brings us a level of consistency, so fired up there. Special teams was better. I know we got hit on one, but we were much better across the board, and that's much more our style of football. So proud of the guys. Good win.
I saw you making a little bit of a fashion statement today.
I can't see. I can't see anymore.
But you talked about some changes coming. Just talk about it. It appeared as if you were calling plays. What was the mindset behind changing things up, man? Were you calling the plays?
Yeah, it was just let's try something a little different, right? And look, I know I know what I want to do. I know how I want to do it. Now, that being said, this is a collaborative effort now. I mean, I was taking input from John Morton that whole time and the other coaches. So, hey, man, what do you think here? Third down. All right, we get into this. 3rd and 7 plus, blah, 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 blah. All right, where are we at? Give me the. So this is, man, this is all encompassing. You know, man, we all work together. Coaches did a hell of a job. But I just wanted to change it up a little bit. You know, let's just see if you know, maybe a different play caller can maybe get us a little rhythm. That's all. And it honestly is nothing more than that. You know, I know you're probably going to want to ask questions about, well, what about this, or I heard this. It's not that. This was a change. We made a change. It was good for today.
When did you decide to make that change? And what was that conversation like with John?
Yeah, it was last week. You know, really, whatever, after the game, day after the game, and look, it was honest. It was he and I, and we were good. And it's like I told him, man, I need you. You know, I need you, and but I feel like this is something that I'm going to do. And listen, John Morton's all team, man. That's all he cares about. He just wants to win. He wants to be a part of it. He wants to help where he can, and he was outstanding today. And he's done nothing. He's a grinder. He's a worker, and he just tries to help and give you anything that you can possibly need for the game. So it was. Look,
See
if
how
you're him,
Coach does it?
of course it probably doesn't feel too good. But he's also, man, he's a pro, and he understands everything. And so we move on. And there was no guarantee that anything was going to change today. But look, the guys did a hell of a job. Our players were outstanding today.
How was it different than 2021 when you did this? If there's anything,
Well, what do you mean?
I don't know. I mean,
Just calling it, you mean?
yeah. I mean,
The way I call it, or?
dynamics with you and John versus what happened with you and.
Oh yeah. No, listen. I like John. That's what I'm saying. Like John is vital to me. All right. He gives me critical information that deals with the pass game, and that number one is his baby, man. That's his bread and butter. It's one of the things he does well. And so, man, I think that's the best I can say, man. He's good. I'm glad he's here. This is not, I don't know what you want me to say. I know how the other one ended, but that's. Listen, man, this is where I'm at, and he's in a great spot. He can help me out today, and.
Maybe you can explain them
Whoops. Okay.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
Sorry about that. There's a whole bunch of mistaken. Okay. Well, don't worry. I've got it paused. We'll get back to it here in 1 second. Let me just figure out what the hell just happened.
Tough to find good help these days. Honey,
It really is. It is tough.
honey, turn the Wi-Fi back on.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man, what a drag. Sorry about that. Too much to do at once. I'll get it back. Give me a second. I gotta find it. Right mouse. All right. Anyway, what did you hear from Dan so far? Tell me. Help me out there while I go bring him back.
It doesn't sound like there's any plan to make any personnel moves until the offseason. I don't know. I don't know that. I mean, I suppose he still could at some point, but it'd be a pretty tough pivot to go from what he just said. Obviously, trying to be, again, professional, trying to protect John Morton's reputation, trying to make sure that at least outwardly he's portraying him as having a valuable role to play and still providing value to the franchise. So I don't know where he goes from that. If he wanted to make a move in another direction, it would almost have to be, at that point, it would have to be John Morton's decision. And
Yes.
I don't know that somebody would volunteer to not have what is a pretty healthy paycheck for the rest of the season. So it sounds like he's going to be in the mix, at least based on that.
Yeah, definitely.
And confirming what you had just said before too, that the decision was made last Monday, day after the game. And so that by Tuesday, Wednesday, when they were having those press conferences, and by the time you heard from John Morton and he was delivering his thoughts, he had been relieved of play calling duties, and then we're going in this new direction, and he knew that.
Yes.
So his response, I think now that you have some context on all of that, it certainly sheds a little more light on what was going on behind the scenes and why things may have been just a little bit weird. Because, like I said, the vibes have been bad all week. It's been a bummer of a week for a fan base of a 5-3 football team that's very much in a championship hunt. But
okay. I've got Coach back.
Something's
Sorry.
better now.
I really
did I filibuster long enough?
You did. Thank you so much.
Just, I think sometimes it gets hard. Look, when you're the head coach and you know how you want it to look, it's one thing to kind of say how you want it to look, but it's hard to crawl into my head, right? And you have your own vision for it, and sometimes it's all encompassing, man. The way you run the ball, the way you play pass, the way you boot, the drop backs, and you're just trying to hit from all sides. And I just know I have a good feel of our players, and I know what we're capable of. I know what they're capable of. And so, I don't know. That's the best way to say it. And
what was the key to unlocking Jahmyr today? Did you have him doing anything different?
No. Listen, he's been doing a great job. I mean, he's been busting his rear. He does every day. He comes to work. I mean, he grinds on it, man. He has. He's been unbelievable, and we just hadn't connected. And so today, man, we got him going. Goff got him going and made some throws, and he made some big time plays, man. And so it was just good to see, man. His confidence was up, and he's ripping and roaring, and he's very much a part of our guys. I mean, St is our lead dog, but I mean, this guy's a catalyst. Gibbs a catalyst. Demo, he's a catalyst. Laporta, and I just thought all those guys showed up for us. But it all starts with that O-line, and they showed up today and delivered for us, which now does everything. Because now Goff can play the game he needs to play, and we can distribute it to our weapons.
What did you see out of Jahmyr Gibbs this week, though? Coming off the performance last week, season low, like a difference in mentality, or what was his mindset?
Now, listen, he's well, I can tell you this: he had a chip on his shoulder. I mean, nobody was more upset about last week than he was. And so he wanted to make things right, and and also wanted to get him more involved in all areas. The run game, the pass game, mix it up a little bit, and so he was ready to go. I mean, he just. It was a bad taste in his mouth, like it was all of us last week, man. That was a hard loss.
The offensive line, no sacks, no TFLs. What did you see from them out there today? How were they able to kind of put it back together and rebound?
Yeah, I mean, they just, I thought they played well together. I thought from the first time we ran the ball, you could just see the surge. And so, they were ready to go. Look, they take all that stuff personal too. They're no different than us or anybody else, man. When you lose a game and things don't go your way, man, that's a tough pill to swallow. So you really can't get to the next game fast enough because you want to wrong the right or right the wrong. So they did a great job. They really did. I mean, you could just feel the line of scrimmage move today. And honestly, I feel like could have called anything today, and they were going to make it work. It was, they took it over, man. Guys are unbelievable.
We'll talk about third down a lot.
Last three.
Say it again.
Here and then Sean.
We talked about third down a lot in recent weeks. It started hot. I think you converted the first 5, including 2 3rd and 7s. Just what did you see different about third down today, and just why was it more successful?
Well, we were, for the most part, we were in manageable thirds, and if we weren't, we were trying to get there for 4th and some of these other zones. But, we mixed up the protections. We did a couple of different things. Run game was part of some of that. We took some one-on-ones, like Jamo caught a one-on-one over there. And so, I mean, really, it was, we packaged things very much like we have. It just. Everything was, we executed today. Guys did a great job, and guys made plays.
What your observations, takeaways, Trevor, from having the president of the game? Was it something you noticed? Was it mentioned on your sideline?
No, you know what? I didn't. I knew that he was coming to the game. I didn't even know. Like, honestly, and I just didn't know. He was here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like when I'm in this play, I don't even know what's going on around me half the time, And so it was either defense is out there or I'm trying to get the plays ready, so I didn't even know. But that's cool. That's cool. Now that I know he was definitely here, that's when you're talking about the President of the United States, and that's a big deal.
Sean, last question.
And how much do you enjoy calling plays, and did you consider this after Ben left?
I did. I did. Thought about it long and hard. I knew the hard thing is, I enjoy it, but I also know, man, it's going to require a lot of, it's going to require a lot of me. And so that's the holdback is that, wherever your resources go, then you're losing them somewhere else. That's the hard thing. That's the reality of a head coach who calls plays too, or is part of the offense. But it's like anything else. When you do it, you adjust. You adjust and you start figuring out what you need to do, how you need to do it, become more efficient, and and it's really ultimately about what's right for the team, always. And it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. And so, I feel good with where we're at. I wasn't perfect. I mean, Goff bailed me out of some stuff today. But, I like the setup of the staff, and I think the players are in a good place. And, and I think we can grow from here. I really do.
All right. Thank you guys. We'll have Jameson and Jared.
All right, there you go. It's Jameson and Jared. We'll see how it goes and who we want to talk to when. See if we got somebody up already. Not quite yet. All right. Very shortly, we'll have the next presser up. Your reaction, Mr. Gray. The questions this time, I have to give some credit. Not as bad.
Well, they had a singular focus.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, so everything's different. You changed everything. I think there are some important things in there, and we saw it coming up in the comments here on the channel. Like, okay, have you just been hiding this superpower for reasons only known to you? I mean, I get it. Just because you're well hung doesn't mean you have to do porn, but should you have been doing this the whole time? I mean, for the love of God, if you're really good at this, then why did he get 8 games to try out? And obviously it sounds like he has every intention of this being the model moving forward. The one ding dong question was, what do you think about the president being in and on TV, as though he were watching the show with all of us on our couches.
Yeah. Well, it's a little kind of a look into the press box is what you got right there.
A little bit. But yeah, I think, this is it. This is what we're going to have at least through the end of the year. I know there are already there are rumors flying around that Brian Daboll is going to be relieved in New York. Those two have a relationship, but that's all well in the future. Whatever the post John Morton offensive coordinator situation looks like, I think is probably out there a little ways. For now, it looks like we've got Dan Campbell play caller, which is going to throw a wrench into all of the people that want to follow the narrative where he's just kind of a meathead. So I don't know how that's I don't know how that's going to be met from the national casuals, but that's what he just told us, is that he likes doing it. He plans on doing it this way, thought it worked pretty well, and he'll get better at it. So buckle up. This is, it's November. The games that matter most, you're going to have him on the sideline with the play card and those grandma specs.
Yeah.
So
the games that mattered the most started today. We got to where we needed to be in those first games and did really well. Looking at the competition at the beginning of the season before everything started, kind of looking at like, oof, that's a rough go that we have there. We beat the Ravens. I mean, we pulled some really good ones out. We had some stinkers against Green Bay, but this team is now positioned very, very solidly. I mean, they're a half game behind Green Bay, who's I don't think Green Bay is as good as they look. I don't think Minnesota or Chicago is as good as they look, to be honest with you. I think Chicago loses today if Jackson Dart doesn't go out. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So
Chicago is the Breaking Bad. They can't keep getting away with it team. They can't keep getting away with it. They can't keep tripping and stumbling into these weird wins against bad teams the way that they have against, the Giants without Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson in there, and the way that things went in that Cincinnati game where everybody just decided, to hell with tackling Colston Loveland. They'll just bounce him around all the way to the end zone. Just time after time after time, that keeps happening. The Packers have decided to flame out against the powerhouses of the league like the Browns and the Panthers. So anybody can be had. I mean, again, I'll reference the Bills game from earlier today. Miami won that thing, and it was never in doubt. They didn't need to get lucky. They showed up in the first quarter and dominated that game. And you will not convince me that the Miami Dolphins are better than the Buffalo Bills. There's just no way.
Well, okay. I don't know. Maybe someone was injured. All right, let's get Jared. I got to do change. Sorry. Let's get Jared Goff on. He's wanting to talk, but I need to change his name so that it actually shows up as Jared Goff and not Dan Campbell, because I'm sitting here kind of just having a drink, enjoying the win, doing the things that you like to do.
Taking your mental victory lap.
It's a good one. I mean, I'm out of my game a little bit because of it, but yeah. All right, here, let's get Jared Goff in here. Thirsty.
He was great, and I love that we just kept coming back to him and giving him more ops to get the ball, and he was locked in. He was really locked in all week in practice, and has been all year, honestly, and to see him have a game where it pops like that's fun.
How dangerous can he be on those crossers?
Pretty good, huh? Yeah, that's really dangerous, right? Like, he's one of the fastest guys in the league, and get him in space, it's like it's a cheat code going down the sideline, and we want to try to do that as much as possible.
Obviously, different voice in your headset today. How did you feel the offense was different with Dan Campbell?
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. I really did. I thought, it's hard, certainly in your first time doing it. Since that first year, it's been a long time since he's done it, and I thought he did a great job getting the plays in on time, getting the personnels in, switching up the tempos. He was great.
What about the offensive line? Obviously, it wasn't up to their standard last week to come back. No tackles for loss, no sacks, but you were hit only 5 times today. And
yeah, they were great. They were really great, and I think it started early. You could feel them leaning on those guys early in the run game, and then that kind of leads to everything else. And those guys have a lot of pride and wanted to play really well today and did a good job.
What does it say about Dan's finger on the pulse of this team to not only make that tough change, but to come out and have it look the way it did today?
Yeah, he knows, man. I've been saying it for years. He's not just this rah-rah guy. He's extremely smart and has a very good feel for people and players, and obviously our team. And I thought he did a great job.
When did he tell you that change was happening this last week?
When did he tell you guys it was happening?
Today.
When did he tell you guys? He told me, I guess, would be my question. I knew early in the week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was the week any different with process of putting
No, exactly the same. Honestly, everything remained the same, and I think you got to give Johnny a ton of credit for handling it the way he handled it as a veteran coach and a guy who has shown to have no ego over and over. Like to have that happen and for him to not miss a beat in game planning and helping me and the pass game and the whole thing was really cool and impressive by him. And it all worked really well together this week.
Can you explain just a little bit more about the offense looks so in rhythm today?
So what?
So in rhythm.
Yeah.
Everything was just clicking.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just through Dan or whatever, but like when how well he knows you and how well he knows the vision of what he wants. How does that make that come to life, I guess?
I don't know if it's that. I think it's knowing when to go and when to pull and push and pull and push and pull and to be honest, that's kind of one of his best traits as a leader. And not to cross leadership and play calling, but knowing kind of when the shot feels right and when the run feels right and when to switch the run and when to do that. Like, it's really hard, and I think it's a lot of feel. It really is just a lot of feel. You can't really teach it. You can't really learn it, and he did a great job with that. I don't think it has anything to do so much with him like knowing me. Like, yeah, he knows what plays I like. He knows what plays I like every week. So he did a good job.
What's the main difference about having Campbell in your headset versus anyone else?
I feel like I've just answered this question like 4 times, but go ahead.
No, just like Dan's voice. Like, what's different? What's different about Dan compared to anyone
his
else?
voice.
John Morton?
Sure. I don't know. To be honest, in those microphones, in those speakers rather, everything kind of sounds the same. So I wish I could give you a better answer. It's pretty muffled always. So yeah, I don't really have a great answer for that.
What did you see from Jahmyr this week?
Yeah, pretty good.
Maybe thought that this could be
Yeah, I think the way that they play on defense gives you a lot of chances to get the running back in advantageous matchups. It's they do a lot of great things over there, and that's one of their areas that they're willing to be exposed on, and you got to expose them on it, and we did today. And I thought he did a great job out of the backfield as a receiver, and then obviously in the run game was incredible too. But yeah, he's a unique weapon for us if we can use him like we did tonight.
Was this transition compared to when it happened with Anthony when Dan took over? Does this transition, did it go any smoother because it's already happened before? Like you guys know each other better about doing that communication.
I think it was. I don't relate those two the same even remotely. We were 0-8 when that happened, and we were 5-3 when this happened, and it was completely different circumstances. I don't know how to compare or contrast them further than that. They're completely different.
Couple more guys. When the president arrived during the game,
Yeah.
did you notice it? Pay attention?
Did I see the plane? Yeah, I saw the plane. Yeah, I thought the plane was freaking cool. I mean, whatever side of politics you're on, that was cool to see that thing that low. And I did see him on the big screen, and the place got pretty loud. So yeah, it was cool.
Thank you, guys.
I didn't do that. No, I didn't know where he was, but awesome that he was here.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go.
We did promise not to talk through.
That was a hard one. That was
the chat's on point. I said 4 times I don't want the salmon. Yeah, so there you go. That's going to be. I mean, and that will be the conversation for the entire week. Is what this is going to look like now that they've made these changes. But I think again, Jared was on the exact same talking points that Dan was. Doesn't sound like John Morton's going anywhere, at least not through the end of the season. He sounds like to whatever extent he has a role, and he's been recognized as such, and they will continue on. It's very, very similar to the Anthony Lynn situation when he was retained and kept on as a part of the offensive staff, was just no longer the offensive coordinator.
Yes. And I think, look, he makes a really strong point about when you have to do this, you can't do something else, right? Because every choice you make as a leader, especially at the top of an organization, is a choice to not do something else. And so if he's going to take over the offense like this, that means there's something else that's not getting done or other things that aren't getting done. So I think he may be able to use Johnny Morton in a way. I'm just going to be silly. Cut up the film for me in this way. Put it in the way I like it. Make sure I don't have to go down the hall to get my coffee. Bring me my lunch. I mean, I'm being silly, like I said, but there's all kinds of things he can do to help accelerate and improve the efficiency of MCDC now that MCDC has to do those things, right? And I think that's where he's going to do.
And he did it in 2022. He was an offensive. I don't even remember what his official title, consultant of some kind. He was, he's an offensive assistant. Just kind of had a nebulous title, and he was involved in some of the things in helping Ben as the offensive coordinator. He was the guy who kind of, helped shepherd Ben in and make that transition from tight ends coach to OC. So he's been in that assist role before. It's at least semi-defined from a time when they weren't, quite so terrible. They still hadn't found their way out of the woods just yet when they made that move, but he's done that sort of thing before. And like I said, it doesn't sound like he's in a hurry to not have a paycheck. And Dan is being the ultimate pro. I think, Jared following suit. Those guys obviously are in lockstep with their messaging, which is important to see. That just, again, points to somebody who's running a really sound organization when everybody is on message and telling you the same things.
Yep. There's something here. Go ahead. There's the chat. There's a chat that came in. You're gonna want to react to it too. Nobody's talking about this. If John Morton couldn't hack it, why did MCDC hire him for OC? This is
exactly what I said. What do you mean nobody's talking about that?
But
that's all I've been talking about for a week.
But here's the idea. Blitzy Fritzy 88 for Babylon. How do you know that question was worth a shit until you ask it and everybody reacts to it? You really kind of don't. And the thing is maybe your next question will be better, or maybe your next question will be worse. There's no way to tell. Okay. John Morton had a lot of these similar issues in New York. Then he went with Sean in Denver, and Sean gave a good vibe about Johnny Morton and what he'd become. He's not just working on talking to the guy in the interview. He's taking in a lot of other information as well. There was a believed to be an improvement in Johnny Morton in this space, and it did not manifest itself here in Detroit. And that's that, right? There's nobody that is 100%. It's like Brad Holmes. If you expect him to hit every single draft pick, you're probably fucking high. It's just not going to happen, right? These kinds of things happen. Now it's happened with Lynn, and it's happened now with John Morton. That doesn't look good. Ben kind of came up from the ranks. Is there somebody in the ranks? There might be. We'll talk about that some other time. That might be able to rise up for the position. But, he trusted Sean, who helped Dan Campbell be the guy he is today. And I don't know that I wouldn't have trusted Sean Payton if I was Dan Campbell, along with maybe a really, really good interview from Morton. So, and Morton was here before. And it was really late in the process because we got so far in the playoffs, and you got to say all the shiny, beautiful people were already hired. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, and like I said, for the record, Blitzy Fritzy, I've been saying that. And I've caught some strays for saying that because you sound like a heretic and a blasphemer, and you're taking Dan Campbell's name in vain. And that's not my point at all. But that was, you go back and listen to my show from last Tuesday. Go back and pick up the gray area coming out of Minnesota. Like, okay, everybody wants to fire John Morton. I want to know about the process to bringing him on board so that it doesn't happen again. Because, and I'm glad that Jared said right there, the context of the changes with these coaches in 2025 is completely different than a 3-win squad that was 0-8 at the time and had no chance in hell at doing anything other than drafting in the top 10 again. And you had very little to lose. You could experiment, you could monkey around, you could throw shit at the wall and see how it turned out. And you're not going to affect a win total that mattered. This is different. You have a championship contender that you have an obligation to keep on the rails. And so the stakes are so much higher. And, you've got it. And in that way, again, I commend Dan Campbell for being willing to take this on, because it's going to be on him. If it goes poorly, if it goes sideways, if it didn't look good today and he was calling the plays, and all of that's in play, it could go in the ditch quick. Because then it isn't just you who hired him, but then you who didn't have an answer when your hire didn't work out. I do think at some point down the road, they got to examine the process, because you came up with Anthony Lynn. That didn't work famously. 8 games later, you took away offensive play calling duties. Now you've done the exact same thing again with John Morton. Yep. And so I don't know how many times you can do that when you've got guys that you're signing to massive deals over, was it close to $1 billion in salary now and contracts that have been paid out, a lot of which sit on your offense. You can't waste years of a roster like this when you have the opportunity to do what these guys have the opportunity to do. Yeah. So, I want
to hit 2 things, a couple things really. Okay. Sorry. There's a whole bunch of stuff lined up right now. So first off, imagine if we win the Super Bowl with Dan calling plays. That would be freaking fantastic, man. That would be wild and over the top. I mean,
and then how do you hire an offensive coordinator ever again?
Well, the next thing is people are saying hire John Gruden right now. Here's the problem, okay? And I like John Gruden. I'm not saying he wouldn't be a great guy, right? Or if Dable got fired, I don't think he'd be I think he'd be a great offensive coordinator too. Problem is, you probably don't have him next year. You just hired a guy, brought him inside, and he saw the whole kind of map of your thing, and then you're going to be playing against him. Is that worth the squeeze you're going to get out of that coming in partway through the season versus what we can see that Dan can do? And that's I mean, it's a really tough thing to weigh, but it is the reality of what you have to think about in the National Football League, because it is a small community and everybody knows everybody.
Well, and it is just, we are talking about play calling. That's not the same as the intellectual horsepower that goes into coming up with the game plans.
Yep.
That comes up, in the film study. And that's where you get David Shaw, and that's where you get Fraley, and that's where you're going to get John Morton. Yep. Unless something changes after what we were just told, John Morton's going to be in those film sessions. He's going to be breaking things down and coming up with ways to challenge these defenses that remain on the schedule. So there's a lot more going into that than just the guy with the headset on game day, which was something that I kind of always maintained about Ben Johnson. Again, go check my Twitter feed if you'd like. That offense looked an awful lot like the Lions offense when Ben Johnson, the super genius, was here, because it was Dan Campbell's offense. It was always, it's the astronaut meme. Always was.
It always was. Yeah.
Always was. It was his offense.
A couple of more things. Sorry, I'm just rolling through this stuff. You're carrying us here, Mike. Michael, I promise you're carrying us. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com, Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Do all your shopping there. It takes you right to Amazon. It just throws a cookie in your thing. Nothing malicious or damaging or anything. It just lets them know that we sent you there, and it takes a little bit of money out of their pocket, puts it in ours, and it's a great way to help the show by doing something you were going to do anyway. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. All right, let's open the phones. 313-314. 2421 313-314-2421. Get in here, join us for the phones and the talk. Mo, if you happen to get through this week, I apologize. I don't have Mo music queued up. We had a little bit of a meltdown on the production side, but I promise next time we'll have Mo music. All right. Let's see. It did stop us from playing a million bubble screens. We did run crossers with Jamo. That's, I think, the biggest thing. Jamo's, was this his biggest game of the year? I think it was 119 yards.
I think it was in terms of yardage.
Yeah. Good game for him, and proof that he has a role to play in this offense if the offense is thought of in the appropriate way by the play caller. And again, what we saw Skipper split out. Like, what was that? That wasn't for this week.
No, it was. I don't know what that was either. That's one where you're like, when you see the motions and things like, oh, they sent the tight end in motion and nobody followed him. Well, guess what? Next time he'll get the ball. I don't know what Dan Skipper split out wide ever. In the best case, I don't know what that turns into.
Well, it turns into a catch for him at some point potentially, right?
Right.
Or it just turns into, you've actually got to cover him because you think he's going to get a catch sometime, right? You've now at least put one player on Dan Skipper out on the outside there. And it's just
daring
bananas.
him not to tent stake you.
Yeah. And it's something else that you now have to plan for as a defense. Whether you see it again or not, it's now been set up. It's now a wrinkle that you have to think about. How do we react to this, right? And it's just more, it's a flood the zone thing. I mean, to use the football term, you're flooding the brain with too many looks, too many options, too many things that you have to think about. So you start looking at this thing and it gets real confusing. You look at how mad that Washington defense was today. And
from the beginning,
something. Yeah.
Throwing punches, getting thrown out. How do you hit the ref and not get tossed, by the way?
You have to, they have to be people. You have to hit people in order for it to be a penalty. Hey, caller.
Man.
What's your name? How you feeling today after the big Lions win?
Hey, Chris. Hey, Michael. This is Tim here in Atlanta. Great win today.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to state real quick, if you go back to the press conference, what was it, Thursday, Friday, when Morton spoke, David Shaw spoke before him. And I really see the team moving forward with Shaw, with his experience, his background, the family DNA with his dad coaching back in the, 70s, 80s?
Mm-hmm.
I see all good things going. So keep up the great work, guys. I'm going to get back to work here and listen to you guys while I'm just finishing out the week.
Awesome. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks, guys.
And that was a conversation we had in the Slack a little bit. It was not, that was obviously, and now we know because of the timeline, it's been laid out by the coaches, that was not a coincidence that they put David Shaw out there on microphone. Because, as an offensive staff that you're going to be fleshing this thing out in a different way for the remainder of the season. And all of these guys are going to need to have a little higher profile.
Yeah.
Because it can't all fall on Dan, and this thing about John Morton is going to get out there. So I don't know that they send him out for his coordinator spot. Maybe they do, but the way that one went last week, I don't know that you're doing yourself any favors that way. So yeah, it wasn't an accident at all.
Yeah,
that they put Shaw out there. And I did look it up. Jameson did have one other game where he had 6 catches. That was against Kansas City, but this was better than his best day in terms of yards. He had 108 versus the Bears and 119 tonight. So tied his season high in catches and had his best day for yardage. and look the part, man. He's a guy that just terrify people if you let him.
Yeah.
Hit that guy in stride, give him some space, and let him go.
Yep. Hey, caller, what's your name and how you feeling today? Mo, how you doing? I apologize for not having your music, brother. I really do. I it would have been perfect. But it's just it fills the room with smoke every time. You know what I mean? And it's a good thing. What's your what's your thoughts on the game here, bro?
Helping calling the plays today with MCDC. Some of the plays were titled 42 smoke, 420 left.
Mo only hears what he wants to hear. Like you got the radars. You got those Dumbo ears for the weed references, right?
Yes.
Oh, man.
420 slash left. Dan Skipper block.
So let me guess, you were puffing every reference?
Didn't take quite as many, else I wouldn't be on the phone with you all right now. But, but yeah, I enjoyed every bit of the game. It's always good tuning in now, being a Lions fan, because you would expect a win, especially after we come off of a loss. I don't know what it is about these losses. They just annihilate the next team. So whatever happens in that practice after a loss, it's working. Keep it up. But let's keep this win streak going.
Yeah. Let me ask you, I'm going to get you with a quick question before we roll, okay? What does a Mo pregame look like? When the day's starting out, it's before the game, especially in a 4:00 game, you got a big afternoon ahead of you. What's that pregame setup?
Well, it's typically edible, watching my boy Scott Hansen on Red Zone, enjoying all the other games until, the 4:00 game come on. But yes, the pregame is alive and well, baby. Nice gummy, nice bong to the head, and get it popping. I'm tailgating in my living room, baby. What you want me to do?
It never rains at Mo's tailgate. That's beautiful.
Yes. And I would just want to say I will continue to call plays from here on out. Super Bowl bound, baby. Let's go.
All right. Thank you, Mo. We love you, brother. Thank you for calling in, man.
Yes. Love y'all too. Go Lions Nation. One pride, baby. Let's get it.
All right. Mo, man. He's like the brother that I didn't have. He's like the third brother in my family.
Well, he's our vibe check.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean, and again, as bad as things were, it's easy to forget. You were 5-3, now 6-3, depending on what happens with the Pack game tonight. You could be sitting there in first place in the division, but the vibes were terrible. I mean, think about those press sessions. Think about all of the chatter behind the scenes. Think about what this coaching staff had to go through. They were that's a crisis moment. That's my wife works in crisis communications and all manner of things like that. And
so her husband,
they were there. I am a bit of a case study.
Married to her work.
Poor woman.
She's a great gal.
They had to manage a situation that could have absolutely derailed the season. I mean, if he had made another call, if he had kept play calling in the booth after Morton went in there and set everybody on fire and had pushed some people under the bus, these things could have spiraled in a lot of different ways. And he didn't. He figured it out. He put it on his own back. And now we get to see, kind of what we've got as we head down the stretch of the season. Yeah. But the vibes, again, going back to Mo's call, better.
Yeah.
It's amazing what a win will do. And now, you feel so much better about your chances in Philadelphia against as tough as anybody Eagles team. I mean, they're the defending champs, for crying out loud.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, God, it's always good to have Mo stop in. Okay, give us a call, 313-314-2421, 314-2421. We'll get you on the show. Kind of getting to the other side of the show as we kind of get ready to wind down for the ladies. Put a slow one on. Sorry, went into wedding DJ mode there for a minute.
I was going to say.
Wait till I get to Pillow Talk, the old Alan Almond shit. Do you remember that? You were at West Side, so you didn't get that.
I don't think I do.
We have a late night dedication from John. He wants to talk to Mary about something. Anyway, so there you go. Pillow Talk. Let's see. We got fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. If you want to get any of your Lions gear, make sure you head over there. Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. Again, takes you right to the site. Just throws a little cookie in there. Lets them know, and you can get all your Lions gear. You can look like a superstar, and you can do it by helping the podcast because you were going to do it anyway. You already look like a superstar. You just need that one Gibbs jersey. That's it.
Go get some silver pants with it. All right.
Ooh.
If you're going to get the jersey, get the silver damn pants.
Yeah, there's something to be said.
They just saw
look great. I got to tell you, I was like, yeah, whatever. But man, they look really. I mean, I felt Billy Sims. I felt Barry Sanders.
That's what they're supposed to look like.
Felt it. It was like, holy
yes,
cow.
Yeah. Look good, play good, man. Come on.
That's
the tale as old as time.
They look mean. I think like black or like this is like, but those silver pants look like those motherfuckers went out there to meet and they meant business. I was like, oh, I loved it. I didn't recognize it until I saw it. So shout out to you, bro, for being right.
And even better with the home kits. It's even better with the home kits. And they haven't worn them since the preseason. And now they're doing a whiteout game at home too. So it's going to be another, that's another chance we lose. So, yeah.
Lions. Thank you, Jay-Z. Lions are 13 straight wins following a loss. 2 behind the record.
Yeah, they know how to rally.
Yeah.
They've proven that over and over again, and even under these circumstances, they managed to rally. So
Jameson Hennessy, who's that is truly his name, Jameson Hennessy. Met him at one of our training camp parties, and he's a great guy. The tighty whities are better. I do love the all whites. They look just so clean, but I do have to say that it was quite nice to see
the uniform
pants,
though.
Man.
We're not the Oregon Ducks. They shouldn't look different every week. Drives me nuts. I'm an old man shaking my fist at a cloud. This is.
Thank you for saying it for me.
Just me and Abe Simpson.
Oh man! If we beat the Eagles on the road, you'll need to carry my liver off the field. I don't know what you're doing on the field, Adam, but okay.
Right?
Wait, is this Jared?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, Gray. Let me ask you. Do a quick wrap for us. What did you see? What are you kind of thinking, and where do we take it from here?
Well, I mean, you got an offense that scored on every possession until they kneeled the game out. They were moving the ball with the backups even, and could have had more points than they did. Jameson Williams makes a catch, keeps the ball moving. They decide to really go for the throat. They could have even with Kyle Allen in there. So the offense is obviously clicking and looks pretty solid. Defense is getting guys back. We'll have to wait and see on Branch and some of the injuries. Wait and see on Terrion Arnold and his concussion, where he is in the protocol and how much time he may miss. I know Malcolm Rodriguez was close to coming back, but then was downgraded out before the game. We probably should mention the fact that they got to fix whatever the hell's going on with the special teams.
Yes.
There's a mess everywhere. There's messes in coverage. There's messes in the kick teams. There's messes in the extra point, and the field goal teams. And it's been a couple of weeks of that, which for a Dave Phipp coach outfit is pretty strange. He's usually got his guys on point.
James Rago, and I hope I got that right, Rago, in the chat. For those wondering, I think Bates now has 4 tackles. That's 4 too.
Yeah.
Woof.
Way too. And I mean, my daughter was joking about it. Like, why is he tackling guys every week? I'm like, because they keep getting massive coverage. It's him and the howling nothingness of the void. And so we need to, they need to fix whatever that is. And that's been an ongoing
issue. His technique
issue.
Is so strong.
Yeah, well, good. He's needed it 4 times.
A lot of practice.
It's nice that Jack Fox gets the day off. That's one special teams unit you don't have to worry about. Your punt team got to take a rest, but the rest of the special teams, you're gonna need to take a look at that. And then it's about getting those defensive reinforcements in, because they're gonna have a game on their hands against Philadelphia, and they've got some other real important division games coming up. So, I think that's where you're at, and you feel good about the offense. You were the one who said it in the Slack, and if you're not doing the Slack thing, man, I say it every week, you want to stay out of the open sewer of social media and Twitter and the Bluesky and all of that, and get in with some actual fans. Reddit's kind of in that in-between zone where it can turn real bad real fast, or you can have a decent conversation. In the Slack, it's usually pretty focused. And you were in there going, we're going to see the Lions you remember. You're going to recognize the offense this week because you have Allen Park bugged, as we have obviously now discovered, and are listening to their conversations. I don't know how you do it, but you knew, and that's what we saw. And they're going to need it because this is still going to be an offensively led team. That's you look at the names on the jerseys, look at the talent, look at all of the guys they got on that side of the football. They need to win offensively, and now you feel better about their chances to do that. Dan Campbell's got a game under his belt, and despite the fact that his voice is neither bassier nor more trebly, according to Jared Goff, in his helmet.
Such a crucial question to know. I mean, really,
this is the hard-hitting stuff. This is people want to know.
He got questioned about his question, and it came out that I don't know what the fuck I'm asking. I mean, he might as well have just said that because it's like, well, what does he sound like? Does he make you swoon too? It's like, what the fuck is this?
You're just walking around a fountain, stupid. So yeah, the offense looks good. Hopefully the news is good on the defensive side with some of the injuries and the reinforcements, and then fix special teams, man. Because that's going to cost you games. Getting kicks blocked, we've seen it all year long, and special teams has been an adventure for a lot of teams this year in the NFL. That's going to cost you games. It probably cost you the Minnesota game, if we're being honest. As many things went bad, and a lot of things went bad in that game. So it's not just that, but it was a contributing factor for sure. And you forget about it when you score 44 points. But man, oh man, get that fixed.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Tesla with a catch today. Khalif Raymond, love to see. Like Sam and I were talking at the game last week, and thank you, Sam Man, for the whole deal. I mean, I got one of the bobbleheads, the whole thing. It was fantastic. Thanks to
and then cursed the game. So thanks, Sandman. Thanks, buddy.
He treats me.
Stop letting Chris take your other seat.
He's such a good dude.
Take somebody else.
Love him to death.
Take someone else to the Minnesota game. For crying out loud.
Anybody else? We won. It was the big win against Minnesota when everyone thought, hey, put Aidan. Well, I know there was one reporting outlet that said put Aidan back in charge on that week. But anyway, the question that he asked, he's like, why is Khalif on the roster? I need him gone if he's not going to be part of the offense, right? And I'm like, he's talented. He's shown his ability to be a wide receiver 4. He's shown. I'm like, why are we not using him? Why are we not using Jamo? We put out this money in him, right? Like, what are we doing? All of a sudden we show up, Jamo and Khalif, boom, nail it this week. Love it. I love to see Khalif back after that leg injury, especially. I mean, I was worried about him. See him back, see him strong. It's awesome. Over 12 yards, a reception carry, reception average. Almost 50 yards on the day. Laporta got 53. Laporta's one. Dude, those legs will not stop. I don't know if it's mustache power or what the fuck he's got going on, but he just bulls his way through when he gets that ball, man. And I love it.
It's always no shave November at Laporta's place.
Yeah. Even in April. And stop. Nope. Anyway, but what you always see is when he's barreling like that, Panay is always third man in, second man in, and just pushing him for more yards. It's so good. Monty, same kind of thing. The grind. Ja, same thing. Just don't stop. Love that. Love to see that out of those guys. And even Jamo on the sideline, directing traffic as he's running around, just streaking down. I mean, great eyes. Just a great team game from guys who last week looked around and I mean they didn't like what they had and they did what they were told to, and they didn't like it. And shit changed this week, and they responded to what changed. I think everybody as a team is a lot more comfortable, happy, and trusting in a Dan Campbell play call. So that's what
you saw it in the performance from the very beginning. The running backs were downfield 2, 3, 4, 5 yards before contact. They weren't getting blown up in the backfield. Everybody knew where they needed to be. and everybody looked like they were pulling in the same direction. And that's something the coaches have been highlighting for the last few weeks. Is we got one guy's doing this here and another guy's doing that there. Then we don't have everybody on the same page. Well, when you got to go over and see your head coach, if you're the one that screws up the assignment, all of a sudden everybody seemed to be way more on message and ready to go and prepared and focused. And again, everybody on the same page, pulling the same direction.
Yep. This is the team. This is the Detroit Lions we love to see. This is the team we know is in there, and it was great to see it unleashed. Next week against the Philadelphia Eagles is a tough test. Whew. It is going to be a tough test, and it's going to be important.
Big game.
Yeah. It is going to be really important to see, what this team is, what they're made of, and where they go. Look, there are moral victories at this point in the season, but they need a victory. That's what they need.
Sure.
I mean, you lose by 20 points, it's a real problem. You lose by 2 in the last second. Okay, that means there's a game coming later where we're going to face them, and we're still in it. We know we're in it. We know we can punch with those guys. But you want to take this win away. You need to start stacking some wins, and Philadelphia is one hell of a team to stack a win against, because that really sets the table for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, and at their place, no less.
Yeah.
Going to be a completely different environment. I know just through the speakers on my TV, it's a pretty friendly road game. There are a lot of Lions fans in that building.
Yeah.
It won't be that
in
Philadelphia.
No.
You won't be hearing Jared Goff chants in Philly. At all.
They better be ready to throw batteries back.
Right. Yeah. No, that's no kidding.
Oh, man. All right. Ooh, Aaron just got safetied by Jim Harbaugh. All is right in the world. I love it. Love it. All right, let's talk about it. Remember, don't forget us on Patreon. In the Slack, again, lots of information, lots of great people. It's a great time. The game chat, everything. It's a fantastic bunch. They're really awesome.
Save for the 5 minutes after DJT showed up in the third quarter. Things in the Slack got a little weird there for a hot minute.
I almost tweeted and slacked trigger warning right before he came on, because I knew he was coming on next. But I was like, then people are going to think one way or the other. I'm just going to let it happen.
Yeah. Well, and I was still in the other room trying to unload the dishwasher as fast as I could go. And then I came back and I looked at the Slack and was just like, oh, all right, well, I'm just going to let this cool off for 5-10 minutes and these guys talk amongst themselves. I don't need to jump in the middle of that mess. So.
Oh, man. All right. So Patreon, other than when DJT comes on in the middle of the game, wonderful place. Most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. You get in there.
Ash is in there right now.
Yeah, Ash is.
He's in there. He's in there chopping it up.
I love me some Ash. Get myself a piece of Ash.
Again, I was going to say, there's the segment. It's sitting right there. Here's your piece of Ash.
Yeah. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. That's the place. $5 more a month in Patreon, and you get access to the Slack. You can give less than that and support the show anyway, and we appreciate that. Every little bit helps. So thank you everyone who's on the Patreon and helping us out. Follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast, and at the Michael Gray. The Michael Gray. Everywhere you go. Blue Sky. He says Blue Ski. X, Insta, all that stuff. Check it out. A lot of fun. We're all there. And, the ET Lions podcast, all those, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, follow us, whatever. Fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com, Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Please remember to use those. And be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast, because we roll right up into your shit automatically when you do that. And that's how you like it. That's where you want us. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems. Any last words, Michael?
Silver pants forever.
I knew something was coming, because we are Detroit Lions and Reddit Connection. We'll see you this week. Don't miss the gray area. We got Bishop Brown. We got me and Riz back. We got the whole thing coming on. We'll see you this week. Love you all. See ya. Bye.